got to talk about something else that's kind of interesting. And this is something that actually happened last week, but I forgot to bring it up. So we're going to bring it up this week. So Big Chief Studios, I put in Anime Gami because Josh from Comic Concepts, the owner, told me about another. They were actually a distributor that went out of business as well. And he was saying he wasn't even working with them. But we actually have, so a manufacturer and a distributor have now gone out of business. So now I think collectors do want to know, like, can they PO safely? This is a really tough time for collecting, right? And Big Chief Studios, who you may not even have heard of, they've done like Peaky Blinders figures. I didn't even know who the fuck they were before this. So I didn't even know who they were or what they were making. And then I saw this announcement. It was kind of spreading across the groups. But I'm wondering, do collectors need to PO cautiously? Hot Toys, Sideshow, fucking In Art, whatever, because this is a tough time right now. And collectors, and of course, distributors, for one, Hong Kong resellers, even places like Comic Concepts, Sideshow, do people need to be cautious, Kiko, with how much money they're putting down? Like, instead of a full payment, maybe an NRD. What do you think about this?
I thought we did talk about this last week specifically with this because, yeah, I mean, we were talking about it a minute ago that the Anakin's a year out and things like that. And there's so much that can happen within a calendar year. And there's so many events that can happen. There's so many world events that can happen in a calendar year. And no one is immune to any of it. No one. It doesn't matter whether you are a monster executive in some Fortune 500 or you're just, stocking the shelves at your local grocery store. It doesn't matter. Anybody can lose their job at any time. And so when it comes down to your needs, necessities, and the things that mean something, you need to be selective because the things are so volatile right now. And this is not just, US based or anything like that. It's a global problem. Because I think Big Chief Studios, they're out of UK, aren't they? Or somewhere around there.
I think so. Yeah, I'm not sure, but
I know one of the guys I follow on Instagram did some of their blogger photos. And I know that, he's from UK. But one of the things there is that the creditor's voluntary liquidation. That's what it says there in there. It's that they're liquidating everything. There's not giving refunds, nothing like that. They're out of the process. It's now up to, the bankruptcy courts and things like that to liquefy their assets and, they're done. That's it. So there's lots of people out there that, yes, they're going to lose lots of money and that's terrible. It's tragic. So you need to kind of look at yourself and say, okay, what do I do? And we said this last week and I just want to reiterate it again. Nothing is for sure, but put your bets on things that have a little more staying power and a little more, I don't know, not backing, but stability. If you look at it long term, someone that's, like a Sideshow, honestly, I'm just being honest. I mean, that company's not going out of business before some of these other ones. Let's just be honest. They have a lot more going on than, some of the other companies. I'm not saying don't go to them, but be cautious in the fact that at any time, let's say, I hate to even say this, but it's the world we live in. Let's say, more war breaks out across the world and more countries become destabilized and their economies go in the tank. I mean, there's a lot going on. At any moment, the bottom could fall out in any of these countries, your country, our country, all these things. And do you really think that when it comes down to it, that they're going to, well, yeah, I know there's a tank in my backyard, but let me get their pre-order out to them. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So I would be, if there's something you really want, pre-order, but be safe with, if it can do a deposit of a minimal, NRD, yes, but I would be very skeptical about going full payment on anything right now until something's in stock. Because there's things that are just so far out. I mean, 18 months. I mean, they've gotten better, but do you really? My life has changed in the past 18 months, one year. Different things I've had go on. So who's to say what's going to be happening 18 months from now? So be smart, think through it, choose wisely. I saw someone saying the thing, and it's a shit show out there right now. So be very, very careful. I'm not saying Hot Toys is going under, but we never know. We don't know their books. I think we even see this as a topic. They're slowing down with their releases this month and such. So makes you wonder. But yeah, just be careful out there. I mean, I think you should be very, very cautious. Not trying to be doom and gloom, but just cautious.
Yeah, I think so too. Not trying to be doom and gloom with it, but I just think people should be cautious. Like, again, if you have to put down a full payment and you really trust the retailer, by all means, so be it. But I would try to avoid that if at all possible. I mean, I would just look, the thing that I've recommended, I used to do full payment. The thing I've recommended for a while now is actually what Carlos had actually, showed me how to do. Basically, you just pay the NRD and then you put the rest of the money, you full pay yourself. You put it into a separate account, and then when that item is ready to go, you pull out of that account, pay for the item, and then you're good. It's already paid for. You paid yourself, and you're gaining interest on that item. So instead of the retailer having all your money and then you're not getting any interest, and then also the retailer could go under and you lose all that money. So you want to sort of minimize the amount of risk and collateral you have involved. So Dean, what do you think, bro? I mean, should collectors PO cautiously? I mean, for any of these companies, any of these manufacturers, distributors, what do you think?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, even as recently as the NR Joker, we had people pre-ordering stuff, and then those companies were like just gone.
Yeah. Did that happen with MaxNut? Was that who it happened with?
Maybe.
I can't remember who it was. It was like,
yeah, it was somebody, and they're like pretty reputable too.
Oh, Tim Sen had happened, but Tim Sen like refunded everyone, I think, because he said his supplier fell through or something.
Yeah. Well, and then there was other places that were accepting pre-orders and then just like vanished. So, right. I mean, yeah, everything is very uncertain. There are those, luckily in the community and the collecting community for the most part is pretty good, because you could go on pretty much any BST post and be like, hey, what do you guys recommend doing business? And, people will put their experiences in the chat, and like the Tim Sense of the world are usually a pretty safe bet, or whoever. If you don't want to go through sideshows. Now, sideshow for me, it's a little more expensive, but it's that added insurance of like, I'm probably most definitely going to receive this, right? But in terms of paying for it all up front, I don't ever do that. I just do a deposit. Like you said, you pay yourself, you sit on that money, and and you wait for the item to come out. I don't think, pre-ordering in full or even a payment plan could be kind of risky. Because, let's just take my Prime 1 punchline, for example. Oh, yeah. I was paying on that for about a year. So let's just say something happened with Prime 1. I can't then go to PayPal and be like, hey, can I get all my payments back? It's like, well, no, some of those are 6 months old, 8 months old. We don't cover on transactions that old.
Right.
So yeah, it's tough, because I've done all three, right? I've pre-ordered in full, I've done payment plans, and I've paid myself and just waited. So it's up to your discretion on how you want to do it. I very rarely have I ever paid in full. Let's just put it that way.
Right. I used to. And there's some, retailers like, Kit and Spec and stuff, and Josh, obviously Common Concept, Sideshow, that I do trust to pay in full, but it's just, I would prefer not to, and I would advise people not to right now, just be on the caution, err on the side of caution, just to look, there's better ways to do it. So that's kind of what I would say overall. So look, I don't know. Yeah. So in shiny, yep, exactly. So yeah, I think he's maybe just trolling me, but it's in the title. So, but 100%, bro. Josh told me about them. I didn't even know about them. So I'm glad that Josh gave me that info. So